I'm Kathy Smith. I'm the curator of the Lee Summit History Museum. Welcome to Lee Summit Reflections. Here in the museum, we have lots of stories, and we like to remember those folks that are so important to the development of our community. One of those stories I'm going to tell you about today is about Dr. Clint Miller. And Dr. Miller was a physician here in Lee Summit. He actually wasn't born and raised here. He was born around Deepwater, went to school there, and then ended up going into medical school. Well, eventually he went to internship at Research Medical Center, and then he graduated from Northwestern University with a degree in medicine. And he did find an opening here in Lee Summit with Dr. T.J. Ragsdale, who operated the Lee Summit Hospital. And unfortunately, Dr. Ragsdale passed away in 1935. That ended that relationship. Then later on, Dr. Miller went ahead and enlisted in the military service. You talk about heroes. He was in D-Day, he was in the liberation of Paris, and then he was also the physician to many of the Nazi war criminals, including Reichsmark Hermann Goering. And Goering had an addiction to barbiturates. Dr. Miller's job was to go ahead and get him off of that medication so he could stand trial and testify. He was an excellent physician. He was rewarded with honors by Harry Truman several times and ended up becoming a major. So our pictures that we have here are very beautiful, and they're thanks to the donation of Nancy, Susan, and Clint Miller, his children. He's standing there at Luxembourg, and you can kind of see the bombed out buildings. Dr. Miller on the right, and on the left is a friend of his, and he's an unidentified friend. We really don't know who he is. And then in the middle, we have the liberation of Paris. And you can see all of the citizens of Paris gathered together. We're very fortunate that we have those great pictures. This is Dr. Miller's uniform, and you can see all the various ribbons that he won while he was in the medical service. Here is Dr. Miller as a young man when he first enlisted in the service. These are some of his unit. The 391st Artillery is what he was in. That's why we have some of those big shells on display. The most important part of this exhibit are the signatures of the Nazi war criminals. They're all right here. They were donated to us by a friend of Dr. Miller's. These are the names of all the people on that signed that, and then it tells you exactly what happened to all of them. And then we found this great clipping of these war criminals posing. Here's Goering in the front, all smug, all not refusing to admit that they had done anything wrong during the war. And then we have a terrific scrapbook that was donated to us by the family. These are copies of articles that Mrs. Miller saved for posterity, and also some of the great graphics that they used to have back in wartime, depicting these various German war criminals as weird-looking people, which I think that's a really good depiction of the way they were. And then a great sketch that was done by an artist of Dr. Miller working. And then family. This is his wife, his beautiful wife. They were a great family, and they just lived over on Oxford and Lee Summit. When he came back for the war, he went into practice with several other doctors. They established the first Lee Summit Clinic, which is located where Bricks is now. And then in the 60s, they built the building out there on Southwest 3rd, and it still exists today. Dr. Miller won every kind of award that a physician could be awarded. He was immediately involved in his community when he came back. He was on the school board, done from the rural schools into the R7 school district. He was on the board for Lee Summit Hospital. He was on the board for St. Luke's. He just did whatever he could to be a part of the community. And so he was much loved, and there are still people today that he took care of. They all remember him very fondly. So when you talk about heroes in the community, this is a hero. Very quiet, soft-spoken, did so much for us and did so much for his country. If you want to come to the museum, we'd love to have you come. We're at 220 Southwest Main. We hope to see you here in the museum.